go with the condensed version or the section with the two larger subsections?
On the first one, the condensed, a report shall be prepared by a qualified third party to review any and all impact. Third party, that's a party agreed upon between the two entities, or?
That would be between the township board and the wind company. Same way, all these studies are going to be between the township board, and some of that is also going to be an educational process, because it may be difficult to evaluate companies because we don't know much about them. We may have to maybe someone's going to have to further investigate it. I don't know about you, but I've been just thinking about this stuff in here, and I haven't gotten to that part of it yet. But yeah, we're going to have to come up with some sort of a way to vet companies. And you know, it might even come down to the fact that, like at the bank, we recommend we have our own set of appraisers and equipment evaluators that we have confidence in, and it's going to be probably the same thing we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do some investigating and find out who other townships or whatever have confidence in their impartiality to advise us on these things.
We at the planning commission wouldn't do that.
Yes, we will, because we're going to be setting these things in. So we got to look at all the poop that they give us.
The next one down says qualified professional accepted to the township.
Right. But since we're the guys doing the site plan, we're going to be doing. Wouldn't that be right, Frank? Or not?
I would think if you're going to go with you may want to, the first one, the condensed one, you may want to insert the language, a qualified third party acceptable to the township, which is clear that you're going to be picking.
Okay.
If you're going to use the condensed one, if you're going to use the long one, then obviously it doesn't matter.
It's already in there. Right.
Right, but if you go to the condensed, I think it would be a good idea to insert the words acceptable to the township.
Yeah. But is it mostly going to be the planning commission that's going to be picking these, not the township board, right?
Well, except the township, and if you as an agent of the board pick them, then it's the same difference.
Yeah.
I would think it would be the township board because they're paying the bill. Because if we have two of them, then one's $100 and one's $400, the board's got to pay the bill. I'm just thinking we ought to add board after township.
I know this is our deal. What do you think? Should we ask the board what they think or not?
It would seem that the quickest thing is acceptable to you because you're going to be the ones that are going to be the most, and if the board figures you're spending too much money, they're going to say you're spending too much money. And the thing of it is that you folks on the planning commission will be the ones that are going to be the experts, and these guys, whether they're right, good, bad, or indifferent, experts.
Okay.
The other thing, question I have is, as we look at the plans for installation of the turbines, wouldn't we be looking at this as a factor, whether there's interference or not in the first place? I mean, so they may not be placed if there is interference with signals.
Yeah, there's even another section almost towards the end where it says that too.
So, you know, I err on the side of the more condensed version, to be honest with you. because I think that we have other areas in this ordinance where we're going to take into consideration placement of these and what adverse impacts they will have. And have an opinion as to where they would be placed at that point.
Any discussion down there? What's that?
Just listening.
So could I entertain a motion to either accept the long version or the short version?
You mean the version prepared by Frank?
Yes.
Or the A, okay.
Yes.
I move that we accept item 21 as originally written by our attorney Frank to include the words third party acceptable to the township board to review any and all impact to existing television, telephone, and cellular, etc.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. Any further discussion? No further discussion? Brenda, would you put your A's in one pile and your A's in the other?
Deb,
I'm sorry?
I'm voting. Deb,
Oh,
You in favor?
oh, yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Oh, Perry was it?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ken,
Yes.
Brenda, yes. Dale,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jim,
No. Motion passed. That was a surprise. We just saved us a couple of votes here. Okay, we're down on page 9. Page 10. Okay. There's a little bit of verbiage changed at the top. I better read it a little bit. I'll read it from page 9 and then we'll go, and that'll take us into page 10. An applicant for a WEF shall remit a site plan fee submitted for each site plan submitted to the township in the amount specified in the fee schedule adopted by resolution of the Palmyra Township Board. Wait a minute. Oops, I think there's that a mistake. It is a mistake. Do I have the wrong one? Application fee? That's 10. We're on 9. Okay, I get it. Never mind. I was reading, I think I was reading the wrong one. Residential impact fee. Frank, tell me what you think of this verbiage. Number 3.
Right.
And then I'll tell you a little bit about this when you get to the top. It's up here at the top where it says, provided these residents shall be required to cooperate
Right.
reasonably. This was suggested by the wind turbine company, Exelon, and it's, what they're saying is that if they give them a check they have to do something back, like give them a W-9, so that they can, or whatever those IRS, they have to have an IRS form back, for instance, with, probably with a social security or a tax ID number.
Right.
And that's what that sentence is supposed to mean.
I'm concerned that it provides an opportunity for a fight as to whether I think you're being reasonable or not.
Right.
I think that the company has an obligation to report anything they pay. So you're not gonna, they can't pay it if they won't pay it for the person unless they get the social security number. So that's not a case where we needing reasonable cooperation from them, because it's simply a case of the IRS requires that they pay it, and they aren't gonna give it to you, they're gonna give you the check unless you give them your social security number. So I don't see as that, I see that as a way to set up a fight, frankly, between the property owner and the wind facility operators. I don't think it's necessary. If their concern is simply that they're gonna get the check, or not get the, not gonna get the social security number, well, it's a real simple thing. You give me your social security number, I'll give you the check. It happens all the time.
Okay.
And if that's their only concern, I think it's baseless.
Okay. So, you think we should strike that?
I would.
Okay. What about any of the other part of it?
Dwelling unit definition has already been defined and approved,
Right.
and that's, that takes care of that.
Okay. In existence prior to construction is okay, right?
Yeah,
And we've got it where it shall run with the dwelling unit and transfer if they sell it.
yeah, that's correct, that's fine, that one
Okay.
is fine.
All right. Thank you. Okay, now, item 4, I talked to Region 2, and a couple of things that Region 2 didn't, suggested was, number 1, and I forgot to bring this up, is to get rid of the overlay, that it was kind of redundant. And the second thing they felt that we should do is not have any fees in an ordinance, because to change the fee, you gotta change the ordinance. So, as you read in my email, I did eat my hat the other night. So, because I wanted to get these fees in here. So that is kind of worded so that we don't have the fees in there. Does that look okay, Frank?
Right, the thing the board will have to concern itself with as it sets that, is to make sure that the fee itself is a reasonable reflection of the actual costs that are involved. If it simply becomes a fee without regard to what the costs are,
Right.
then it becomes a tax, and would then be subject to successful attack in the courts. The lead case came out of East Lansing, where they installed a sewer system, and then they assessed storm sewer system. Then they assessed properties a storm sewer fee. And what they finally said was that the fee had to bear a relationship to the benefits received, and if you didn't, then that was nothing more than a tax hiding as a fee, and they tossed it. So we'll have to make sure the board, I know, is aware of this, and I know you're aware of it, that those fees will have to bear a reality to the cost of the township's going to incur. It can't turn into a moneymaker for us. That's the only observation I have on that particular thing.
Now,
We've talked about
right,
this.
now what about the thing that, what's that lawyer's name that wrote you, Rick?
Mike Holmer?
Yeah, now Mike said you could get a lawyer and they go talk to the wind company, and they come up with some sort of agreement, payment in lieu of taxes sort of agreement. You heard of that?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them. I would not want to incorporate that in here. Most
No.
municipal attorneys, most municipalities are finding them to be not an effective thing. A lot of the larger municipalities had these PUDs or, payments, and it turns out it's actually costing the municipalities money at this point, rather than simply having the taxes and, if there's an expense, cover it that way. And they are finding all the municipal list servers that I've subscribed to, they are finding less and less favor with the municipalities and simply going back to paying taxes.